In November 2019, Disney took on Netflix by creating Disney+, and then Amazon Prime, Apple TV+, and HBO Max were off to the streaming wars as they fought to gain consumers' attention. These streaming services were investing billions of dollars to produce original content that would entice consumers to sign up or switch services. Along with that, the pandemic brought a ton of customer demand. Projected subscriber growth accelerated in 2020 and 2021 because people were all stuck at home with fewer things to spend money on. But now, subscriber growth has come to a halt, and the streaming war is coming to an end. It was too late by the time streaming services realize that they are fighting for a land that has no more resources in it. These companies are struggling with slowing growth and need to figure out a way to come out of this mess. As a result, Disney started by increasing price on its streaming services after losing a ton of money. Netflix also increased subscription prices and is now cracking down on password sharing. Warner Bros., HBO Max's parent company, is scrapping films and series left and right and reversing its controversial everything under one roof streaming strategy. All three services are expanding their ad-supported offering, and the next couple of years is expected to be tough for the streaming companies. In 2019, Disney and Apple launched their streaming service, Disney Plus and Apple TV. In early 2020, Warner Bros. Launched HBO Max. These events kicked off the so-called streaming war. It was with this background the streaming services entered the pandemic in 2020. During the course of COVID-19, Netflix grew by 36 million subscribers. Share prices increased by 30% in 2020 as investors bet on its ability to benefit from people spending more time indoors. And newcomer Disney Plus hit 100 million in 16 months, a feat Netflix took a decade to achieve. But now, that war to win over subscribers at any cost is over, because subscriber growth has come to a halt. But it doesn't mean that this industry is dying. It is the present and future of Hollywood. But the spend now, ask questions later days are coming to an end as these services mature and media companies struggle to increase subscribers. There are a lot of subscribers to all those services, but attracting new ones and keeping the current subscriber count steady costs companies a lot of money. The streaming companies are struggling to make profits. It is a hard business for almost every single company. If you look at Disney, they've got $1.1 billion in operating income loss. If you look at Warner Bros. Discovery, they've got $3 billion in operating income loss after spending heavily on new content. And it's not going to be profitable for another 2 to 3 years. Investors have lost interest as new subscribers have dried up. Netflix, which once had potential market of 800 million households, appears to have stalled at 220 million and has seen its share price fall by 60% this year. Netflix has scrapped the 30-day free trials loved by binge watchers, in finding that even its huge spending is not enough to keep customers loyal, with many unsubscribing after watching big budget hits. Netflix's growth has stalled after it lost subscribers 2 quarters in a row. Disney would be raising the price of its ad-free service by $3 per month after it lost more than $1 billion in the first quarter on its streaming business. Apple also stopped giving a year of free access to its streaming service with the purchases of an Apple device. David Zaslav, CEO of Warner Bros., has cancelled multiple big-budget projects for HBO Max, while also reiterating that he's not trying to win the streaming spending war. After heavy losses, streaming companies are all raising subscription prices because Wall Street is now demanding higher returns on their investment. And at the same time, streaming services are also course-correcting themselves to not end up losing subscribers. Disney Plus and Amazon's Prime Video started releasing episodes weekly. This move will likely extend the life of content and stop subscribers canceling after binge-watching must-see hits. When any company goes through course correction, there are always human costs. HBO Max reportedly laid off 70 people this month. Netflix fired 150 people this spring, and many of them were women and people of color who were helping to make content that was targeting more diverse audiences. Streaming is still a game of content. Great content remains the best way to entice users to remain loyal subscribers. You have to have the best content in order to make money. At this point, it's not just about who's spending more, it's also about who's spending smartly. So now, the streaming companies are betting on guaranteed hits. They really need these guaranteed hits, both at the cheap level and at the expensive level that will bring subscribers. Guaranteed hits will allow companies to create strong revenue that they can invest back in shows that they think might perform really well down the line. And because of this, intellectual property and franchises have become a dominant thing. Everybody wants a franchise. HBO invested $200 million on House of the Dragon, a prequel to the popular series Game of Thrones, which was aired in 2011, and it was an instant hit. The very first episode had been viewed by an estimated 9.99 million viewers in the US on its first night of availability. This was the largest single-day viewership for a series debut in HBO's service history. After its success, HBO immediately renewed the show for a second season. And not only that, HBO is reportedly making 3 more spin-off series from the Game of Thrones franchise. Netflix will also increase content spending to an estimated $19 billion this year, and Netflix is building a franchise around their popular Squid Game show. Disney, which also owns ESPN, Marvel, Pixar, Star Wars, and streaming service Hulu, is spending a whopping $33 billion on content this year. As the pressure to protect the current subscriber count increases, content spending is set to pass $240 billion globally. Streaming trained millions of viewers around the world to expect a lot of ad-free content for a cheap price. But that expectation was unsustainable. Wall Street paid the companies for subscribers, and because it paid for subscribers, companies did not care about the economics, and they were all chasing after subscribers. This has proved that grow at any cost strategy could never last. And now we're at the point where the Wall Street is looking at balance sheets and focusing on profits and revenue. And the truth is that even though the streaming wars are ending, there's really no place for any of them to go. Streaming is here to stay, and it's the present and future. That's not changing, even if the dynamics and strategies of the businesses around them are changing, because video remains the most popular leisure activity in the world. So, what's next in the streaming war? Well, the next phase of the streaming revolution will be consolidation and bundling. These companies know that bundling is something that worked for a while. Pay TV proved it. People liked having their broadband, phone, and videos in one place. For a long time, companies tricked consumers into thinking that bundling will help save them money, and that sentiment still exists to some level today. This is why it's no coincidence that even though Disney raised prices across many of its tiers, it didn't touch its premium Disney bundle, which consists of Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN Plus. Disney is clearly pushing consumers to sign up for its entire slate of services rather than just one. Warner Bros. Announced that it's looking to merge HBO Max and Discovery Plus, which will debut next year in the US. Apple and Amazon are a part of larger companies, and their bundling system works differently. If you look at Apple, their streaming service is just a pathway to get their customers to upgrade more and more devices. On the other hand, Amazon.com offers Amazon Prime subscribers free or a 2-day delivery for goods ordered through Amazon.com. And it is important to note that because Amazon Prime and Apple TV Plus are a part of a larger company, they also have access to unlimited funding. All these changes reminds people that the model these streaming services was built on is not the model that is here today. The dynamics have changed. Some are loving it and some are not. These changes are also bringing a lot of anger, resulting in boycott trends and subscriber loss. The next couple of years could be tough. It's hard to say when and how things will settle, but at some point it has to settle and the streaming industry has to become less competitive.